number 6. Moving on to topic number 7, we're going to stay in the NFL, and Cooper Kupp has just been lighting the world on fire this year for the Rams. He is now the only other receiver other than Jerry Rice to have 10 touchdown catches and 1,000 yards in the first 9 games of the season. That's a hell of a season for a lot of receivers. Never mind for the first 9 games, Brandon. Cooper Kupp's been unreal.
I'm back. I'm back. I think I'm back. All right, hold on.
Brandon's got some issues here with his video, so we're going to see if we can get that fixed. Of course, I set the tone for this as I messed up my computer earlier in the show. But when we talk about Cooper Kupp, you think of dominant receivers in the NFL, and you think about DeAndre Hopkins and Julio Jones back in his prime, and some of these other receivers like an Odell Beckham Jr. who can go up and catch the ball in traffic. Cooper Kupp hasn't necessarily been that guy. I don't think we've thought of him as a dominant receiver, but Cooper Kupp has been that dominant receiver this year. And I know, having Matt Stafford on the Rams has certainly helped that, but this guy, we've never really thought of him as one of the top receivers in the league. We have to now, though, Brandon.
Yep, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with Skype tonight. They're not liking comeback sports. And on that last topic, I honestly, George has been so dominant. When I saw the word dogs, I thought we were going to be talking about Georgia football. I forgot about that. But hey, man, Cooper Kupp has been so dominant this year. I am absolutely loving it. He's on my fantasy team, man. My fantasy team is stacked with receivers. I've got Kupp, Devontae Adams. I've got Jamar Chase. I've got Julio Jones. Like, wow. My team is absolutely stacked. I'm absolutely loving Cooper Kupp. He's just a plug and play guy. You just forget about him at this point. 25 plus points. He has been absolutely tearing it up on a historic season right now. And like you said, this is a guy that you definitely have to put him up there with, I think, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now. He's clearly showing that. Like you said, for years, he's probably flown under the radar. But this guy has been one of those guys, one of the best route runners in the NFL. And along with Devontae Adams. So they're always open because they know exactly how to get themselves open. Great with body control, great with hands. This guy is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and now everybody is finally starting to catch on and see it because he's putting up historic numbers with Matt Stafford coming in. And I'm telling you what, historic numbers when you're only in the only other guy that's in the same category with you is Jerry Rice, the great Jerry Rice, who is arguably the greatest wide receiver of all time. When you put yourself in a conversation with Jerry Rice, you are doing amazing things. Over these first, I believe, 10 games, he's got like 10 touchdowns, almost 1,000 receiving yards. He is absolutely lighting it up. And to me, I am not shocked at all. I love this guy. He's a great personality off the field as well. I think like somebody that if you want to look for somebody to follow, you should definitely follow Cooper Kupp. And if you're a young football player, you should watch this guy and learn from him. Because like I said, one of the best route runners in the NFL. And I'm telling you right now, everybody's finally catching on that he's one of the best players in the NFL as well.
No question. I think, you mentioned Devontae Adams, and I think a lot of people think of Devontae Adams as a number 1 receiver, as a top 3 or even 5 guy in the NFL because he's such a great route runner, because he has the size and speed, but also you can kind of throw the ball up there and he can go get it. Whereas I don't think you think of Cooper that same way, but we probably should. The way that he can almost do anything out on the field right now too. And you talk about Adams and Cooper Kupp too. Not the most heralded college receivers coming out for the NFL draft. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, everybody knew was going to be good. Julio Jones was a top pick. AJ Green, when he was in his prime back with the Bengals, was one of those guys. These two guys weren't. I think Cooper Kupp was a 3rd round pick. Can't remember what round Devontae Adams was taken. He seemed to come out of nowhere for the Packers. So, these two guys, unheralded receivers, clearly worked incredibly hard to get to where they are. And now you're seeing them. They're probably the 2 best receivers in the NFL. If you think about it, Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams, with Julio Jones kind of drifting back because he's getting a little older. He's a little banged up. DeAndre Hopkins kind of hasn't been exactly the same guy, although he'll probably go out and have a massive game this week for the Cardinals. But
Yep.
I think those two guys are probably the two top receivers right now.
Yeah, I think you do have to put D Hop in there. If he watches this show, he will definitely tweet at us that he's still one of the best wide receivers. He's got the confidence like that. And I think, like we were just talking about earlier in the show, professional athletes are that type A personality. They have the most confidence in the world. And I love it. But I think those other two guys, Davante Adams, Cooper Kupp, are arguably up there. And Cooper Kupp has really been displaying his talent this season in the NFL. But let's move on tonight to a big topic, topic number 8.